Hello everyone, welcome to another video of Keen. In this video, we will discuss on how you can start your very first project using Keen as your companion. So to start off, you first need to download and purchase and download Keen. If you haven't done that already, we suggest you to purchase one because this this video will not make any sense if you don't. And also, if you have not watched our installation guide for 1.4 and 0.0 and above, we suggest you to have a look at that first before we get into this video. The link to that video will be in the description below, so have a look at that first if you haven't. Now that everything's out of the way, the first thing to do here is, in this example, we'll be using PHP as our demo language. However, you're not limited to use PHP. You're perfectly fine to use any other language out there like ASP or C or something else. It's definitely up to you. However, the concept of building your very first project is similar with PHP. So first things first is let's create our project folder. In this demo, or in this video as well, is we are using WAMP as our localhost software, and in WAMP all our localhost files or folders will be placed in our www folder. So let's go ahead and create a new folder in our localhost environment. So let's create a new folder and let's call it Keen app. Right, and in Keen app we need to create three primary folders, where I will show you right here. We need to create an assets folder, a pages folder, and a partials folder. And what we're going to do next is we're going to use Keen's layout builder to populate or generate the entire layout of our project. So in this example, let's look at the default demo as the layout that we are choosing. So let's say that we want to have this layout with these colors and whatnot. What we can do here is just click on this small little button here called Layouts Builder. It will bring you to this Layouts Builder page, and what you can do here is you can choose what kind of styles you would like to have on your layout. So by default, the header skin is light and the logo bar skin is navy and the aside skin is navy. But maybe let's change it to brand, brand, and brand, for example, and we can preview it to see how it looks like before we export it. So it looks like this. Okay, maybe the top bar we don't want it to be brand, so we change it to light. Let's have a look. Okay, maybe this is good enough. Let's go with this and export. Ensure that you're not a robot and submit. So what's happening here is Keen is generating or building the layout files for you to use, and once it's done, you just pop up a save as window for you to save where the files will be sit. So you see here, let's put it into our Keen app, save, and if we look into our Keen app folder, let's extract it. Just extract it exactly in in your Keen app or in your project roots folder. It generates all the HTML files that's required for this layout. So we don't need this zip file anymore. Let's delete that. And if you look here, we have an index and layouts.html, and in assets it's still blank, pages is still blank, but in partials we have all this. Since in this demonstration or in this video we'll be working with PHP, so what we need to do here is we need to rename all our HTML files into PHP. You can always do it by just pressing F12 on Windows just to change it to PHP, like so. Or alternatively, if there is like so many files, you can just open your command prompt and type in ren *.html. They are selecting all the HTML to be renamed to *.php, and it's done. For Macs, you have to probably Google on how you, is there like a shortcut to do this, like similar to what we just did here. So now that this is done, we need to have a look at our theme. So let's have a look at Keen's source package. So this is Keen's source package. So what you can suggest here is to place the theme, the default package, into your project folder, so that you can refer it within the your project itself. However, once you deploy it to your staging or your production server, you do not need to deploy the theme or the source package. So just go ahead and put it here. I'm just copy and pasting. In the meantime, whilst this is going on, let's open up this project in our IDE. The IDE that we're using here is Sublime Text. You can use any IDE if you want, but for this at this stage, just open Keen app, select, and don't do this anymore. All right, so we need to create some pages. So let's go ahead and create maybe 2 pages for now. Let's call it page 1. Save this. Call it page-1.php, and let's create a new one. Page 2. Page2.php. So that's done. So we have our pages, but we need to make everything work. To do that, we can have a look at our index.php that was generated by the layout builder. And if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll notice comments like this, where we put a hint on where you're supposed to place the partial file. So for in this case, we need to include the layout.html partial file within this line. So to do that, since we're using PHP, can just open the PHP tag and then add the include and the correct formatting for PHP, and close. So that's it. You have included layout.html. Oh yes, we need to be PHP because we just renamed it to PHP. So save, and if you go to layout.php, you'll notice the same thing. So of course, there's always a shortcut to do copy and paste work. You can just copy like everything from here, copy that, and do a find and replace. We need to replace that full thing to the opening of PHP, and of course they include this, and yep, we need that too. Place all, and then copy the .html, replace that with .php, close, 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 and close. Replace all, and you have all the stuff ready. So what we need to do here is, the theme has been added into our package, or into our project folder, which we will refer it later. So let's replace this to just a slash. Alright, that's saved. Now let's have a look at our partials. Yep, we have the same exact thing. So let's go ahead and finally replace all that again. replace this, replace that. Okay, I will fast forward this portion of work so that we can just jump ahead to the end once all the copy and pasting, the final replacing is done. Okay, everything's done. Let's save all to ensure that all our files are saved. And what we need to do now is deploy our assets. To do that, let's have a look at our default package, our Keen source package, and go to Tools and go to our new build.json. In here, we see here that it is currently that it doesn't have a parameter in the demo field. What we need to do here is we need to put in demo1 simply because we are using demo1's layout. If you're using demo2, you put in demo2. If you're using demo3, you put demo3, and so on. The next thing that we have to have a look or take note here is the dist path. It's now deploying all assets into its default destination path, which is within the default package here. We do not want to do that. We want to put all these assets into our projects assets package or assets folder. So how we plan to do that is we grab our projects assets folder, the path for that, copy that, and put it into this field. Flip the slashes around like so, and save that. Once that's saved, we need to run gulp. So let's go ahead and run gulp. We need to locate our project folder, go to the default, the tools, and then, like previous videos, load up your CMD and type in gulp. So that's done. Let's have a look at our projects, which is the Keen apps assets. Yep, everything is ready. So now let's go ahead and type in localhost/keenapp and see our project running. So you can see our project is running perfectly fine. And since this is going to be like a real world example of a real world project, so what we plan to do here is, what we need to do is we need to populate our dashboard. Number one. Number two is we need to remove or replace all these menu items here, which is all the menu from Keen's default menu list. We need to change it to our own menu, which is like say page 1 or page 2. And also we need to link the page 1 and 2 into the menu, and also populate pages 1 and 2. So let's go ahead and just populate the what is this? The dashboard first. We can populate it using our default dashboard. Let's go back to our homepage in our demo. So this is Keen's demo, and as mentioned in the beginning of this video, is we mentioned that we recommend you guys to use Keen as a companion. What I mean by companion is we have our project here, and then we have Keen's Keen's demo on a different tab. So in essence, you have Keen's official demos opened in one tab, and then you have your project open in another tab. And then what you can do is you can then take say we want this dashboard to be in our project. We first need to find where these files are located, which is basically just the index. So if we go back to our project, we go to our default, and you go to our dist, and you go to demo1, and you go to index. This is the file that we will be using to copy and paste code from. So since we want everything within the dashboard content area, so let's go ahead and find kt-content. So here is where the entire content sits. Let's copy this entire thing, copy it, and put it into our index. So this is our index, and if we have a look here, our index is actually loading layouts.php, and layouts.php is loading content base. So let's have a look at our partials and go to content base. So if you see here, this is our content base. Let's delete everything else. Let's close our tabs so that we are clear on what we are doing. And let's open up this again. So this is Keen's demo file, and this is our project. So if you can have a look here, the names or the element names are exactly the same. So what we need to do is we need to copy this and put it here. We don't need all that. Replace it with the actual demo content. Let's make it a little bit neater by formatting it. What we do is we save our content base and we go back to our project and then have a quick refresh. And everything's working. So that is as easy as it is to use Keen's demo as your companion to locate and see what elements you want to be placed into your project, find it within the Keen source, and then put it into your project. So next, we need to update our menu. So to update our menu, we need to locate the file called aside menu from the partials folder. And then aside menu is where we place or we keep all or our entire menu within Keen. So what we need to do is we just need to replace this portion here to have to link to page 1 and 2 that we just created up here in our pages. So let's change this to maybe let's call it Keen app. Put it here as well. And in our navy aside, which is this link right here, we rename it to just page 1 as an example, and this will be page 2 as an example, and then just remove everything else. Oops. Okay. And all this, we don't need all this, just minimize all this. Right, there's the end of the menu. Select everything, delete. Save that, go back to your project and refresh, and you see this, which is exactly what we want. You know what? Let's change our index.php, which is our project index, to have a different name. Let's call this Keen app. Alright? So that we can differentiate the two. This is our demo, this is our project. So now if you click page 1 or page 2, nothing really happens because it's not linked to anywhere yet. So what we need to do is, if you go back to our aside menu, if you see the A link here, we need to change this to page 1 and this to page 2. And once that's done, we then need to create some sort of controller. The controller is basically when you click on this link, it controls the page or the content area to flip or to switch to the pages that you need. So to do that is we'll go back to our layout and we place the controller here. Since it's PHP, we can just write the controller in PHP. If you're using any other language, the concept is the same. You just have to write it in that specific language. So let's go is if is set get page. All right. Then let's put the get variable in this page variable so that we don't have to keep typing get. All right. Now that our get is in a page variable, let's put the controller here where if the page is index, we need to include this, right? And else we need to include our pages slash page dash and then the number, which is our page variable dot page and dot php. And we remove this complete. But we need something else actually. We need to know if page is blank. So you know what? Let's just add a condition or page goes blank. Right? And that's it. Our controller is done here. And let's have a look. We save that and let's go back to our index and refresh this page and click page 1. Yep, loading page 1, loading page 2, and go back home. Yep, everything's working. Our menu links are now working. So, but if you notice that the hover effects is not really working, so let's go ahead and change that. Now the class that creates the hover effect is this KT menu item active, and what we can do here is a very simple PHP script. If get page equals 1, if it's page 1, echo this and close, close, close. Right, and copy this and put it in our second menu item as well here, and change this to 2. Let's have a quick refresh, and let's see it's highlighted if it's page 2, and if it's page 1 it's highlighted. If it's index, nothing's highlighted. It's exactly how you want. And now what we need to do is we need to populate page 1 and page 2. So to demonstrate how we can use Keen as a companion again is, let's say for page 1 we want to put a data table in it. So for example, let's have a look at Keen's data table. Maybe we just grab the HTML table as an example. We want to grab everything here, including all this data, into our page 1. So how we do that is we look at the path of the demo, which is the demo 1, and then components, Keen data table, base, and then HTML table. So if you look into our source, we go back to our dist, and then we go to our demo 1. It is called components Keen data table. So components Keen data table, and then what is it next? Base and HTML table. So this is the file that we need to grab. We need to locate kcontent, similar like before, copy that, put it in your page 1, select all, and Let's format it to make it cleaner. Save, and that's it. So let's have a look at our project on page 1, refresh that, and our data table is somewhat working. It's semi-working, it's not fully working because the data is not loading. Now, why is that? If we have a look at our project, or in the source, where is our HTML table? So if you have a look at the source, if you scroll all the way up, we notice that there is no additional CSS, but if we scroll all the way down, we notice there's actually this thing here. This is an additional JS or script, or a JS file that we need to be including into our project for our data table to work. So we need to include that here. You can just go ahead and put it here like so, save that, and refresh our page 1, and our data table is working. Let's go ahead and try to populate our page 2. So for our page 2, again, maybe we want to use, let's say, you use our wizards. Okay, let's look at wizards. So let's look at wizard 3. Okay, maybe I'll use wizard 2, maybe because wizard 2 has more stuff. Yeah, let's just use wizard 2. Yes, I like this because you have 5 steps, and yeah, you can do a lot of things with it. So similar with how we located the data table, we look at the address, component, keen wizard, wizard 2. Let's go back to our IDE, components, not data table, keen wizard, and wizard 2. So this is the file that we need to grab from. Again, find KT content, minimize the entire content section, copy that, put it into your page 2, format it a bit so that it's nice and clean, save, and that's it. Let's go back to our project and see page 2. So it's there, but nothing is working. So what we need to do now is, similar with our data table, go back to the wizard 2 and check if it has any additional CSS. No, it does not. Scroll all the way down, and it has this JS, additional JS. So let's go back and put into our project index and refresh this page, and it's now working. Now you can optimize this a little further by only loading this script or this JS, either of this JS, as and when the pages are being viewed. To do that, you can just use a similar controller that we have in our menu, where if you can just set it as if it's displaying page 1, load this script. If it's loading page 2, load the script. As simple as that. So there you have it. This is how you can kickstart your very first project. All you need to do is create your project folder on localhost, and then create the 3 main folders: assets, pages, and partials, and then use our Keen's layout builder to select the layout that you want, and then export it, and then download it, and then extract it into your project, and then copy. Whilst that's happening, what you can do is you can copy Keen's default package source into your project, so that you can actually just navigate from your project files down here to Keen's source up here. So it's very seamless, and you can just work within the same IDE. Then once that's done, you just need to compile your assets using our gulp command. And once that's done, you just have to then browse Keen's demo to just pick and choose whichever element, whichever component that you want, and then put it into your project. And that's pretty much it. If you want to remove certain aspects or certain things within Keen or within your project that Keen has that you don't want to, so like for example, if you go to the layouts of PHP, maybe you don't need the demo panel, you don't need toolbar and stuff like that. All you just have to do is just remove it like so, and then save that file, and then in your project you won't have certain elements that Keen has. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. You can just give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed what you watched, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on the notification so that next time when we release a next video, you get an update. Also, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and all our social media. Link will be in the description below, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.